Hello everyone and welcome back. As you can see, I'm at a pool right now. This is my friend's private pool and I'm here for some photos today. It is very, very hot, despite it being, I honestly don't know when I'll be releasing this video. Whenever it is, it's probably cooler for you, but it is blazing hot today. Around 27 in the morning and 31 in the afternoon, and it's approaching that. So I'll be taking some photos here and seeing how that works, conquering my worst fears such as water, and there's no sand here, so that's a shame. But anyway, I think it's going to be a good challenge, so let's do some photos. After a decently quick start process, here I have the first shot of the pool. Now, this is no way difficult, it's just that, as you can see, I'm submerged in water and everything is right by the side of the pool, so to say that this is low risk would be an absolute blatant lie. So, that means that I can't use a tripod in water, right? That's just normal because, well, you can, but I don't have a waterproof tripod. And I want to minimize my workload as much as possible with these kinds of scenes, so I am just going to be holding my camera and using AI to do most of the work for the editing, at least editing out a tripod or anything that I deem unnecessary. So let's take a look at what I'm using. The 15-35 at around 24-28mm, shooting a slightly wider angle across this thing. These are the handlebars that you would grab onto to get out of the pool. And I am using them to frame the whole doll within the entire thing. I tried 70mm, but it didn't quite work, didn't really look as appealing as a wider angle because I can immerse you into the photo instead of having it very 2D, very boring. As for the lights, one light on top of the camera, this is basically just for the face because I am a lot closer to it compared to the one over there. There's one flash over there, it's for the fill light and it's going to be very, very high output because it's like 2 or 3 meters away, while everything here, including this flash over here, is less than a meter, around 80 centimeters or so. And I'm going to be even closer, so hopefully it works okay. Horizontal or vertical composition, I'm not too sure because I did take both of them, and plus, when I don't need to use my tripod and I can just do this, it's way easier for me to do multiple versions of the photo. So I don't know which one's going to pass through, so editing me, just let me know which one I'm going on to. Alright, let's take a look at the photo. I would say it looks decent, at least, well, compared to when I was here last time. I'll elaborate on that a little bit further, but for now, let's go on to the second shot. Alright, this is the second shot, and I will say it's very simple, however, I have a few things I need to explain. The first thing being that the rubber dinghy is not on the water. Because when I was trying it just now, it just floated around because this is water, there's wind, everything gets blown around, and it's not exactly very stable, meaning that I would have to have something to clamp it down and, well, I don't. The second thing is that while I have to use one hand to stabilize this rubber thing, I have to also hold my camera inches above the water. I want to say inches, but it's just barely right above the water. So the risk is going to be very, very high, and I don't want to risk that. I actually dropped the sunglasses of the doll into the water twice when I was filming, so yeah, it's not great per se. So I'm not going to risk dropping the entire doll into the water. Anyway, let's take a look at what I'm using. 15-35 at 35mm f2.8, shooting horizontal composition. This is going to be a wide angle portrait of some sort, and because I am going to be shooting below the surface of the dinghy, so simulating what it is to shoot below the water, not below the water surface, shooting right at the water surface because I don't have the leeway of a real person. A real person, say on a rubber floating bed, would be around half a meter or a little bit more above the water, and this is barely 20 centimeters. So I will have to actually shoot below the water level of the dinghy and actually not be at risk. one light on top of the camera, the other little flashes, one's over there, one is over here. These are for fill lights for the sides of the face, and the main light source is going to be this thing right in front. Hopefully everything works fine and it doesn't tip over into the water. So let's take a look at the shot. I would say this actually looks pretty good for what it is. It's a portrait shot, it's not really that special in terms of water, in terms of everything, but it fits with the theme, so I'm not complaining. And I think there's something I need to talk about, so let's move on. Before I go on to the third shot, there's something I want to talk about. I was actually here a month ago shooting the exact same thing. Well, not the exact same thing, swimsuit at this pool, but the weather that day was absolutely horrible. There were a lot of clouds, somehow a little bit of sun, and somehow, for some reason, I still got sunburnt like a crisp. So I have a lot more gear on today. Hopefully I feel a little bit better after this, and hopefully I don't glow bright red after today. Actually, on second thought, I'll just let me that day to talk about it. Roll clip. Hello everyone and welcome back. As you can see, I am, well, in my friend's pool. It is quite sunny actually, however, with this in my hand, I think you know what's happening. It is currently actually kind of raining, and honestly pretty bad as well. So yeah, the sun is strong, UV is strong, it's pretty hot, but at the same time it's a bit pouring. Well, not that bad, but for dolls, not exactly the best thing ever. Hopefully the rain stops soon and everything is blowing in my direction, including all these balls and everything. So yeah, it's not exactly great. However, I aim to get some photos and have a, goddammit, doll swimsuit party of some sorts. Hopefully everything goes well. This is not going to be a very long video because I am at one location, so if everything goes well, enjoy the video and let's get on for the ride. After around, I don't know how long of setting up, yeah, here we have the first shot for today. Before I go on with this, under no circumstance should you try what I am doing. I am just putting my whole setup on this floating bed thing, which is like an inch off the water. So unless you are really, really dumb or really want a good photo or are just incredibly, what's the word? Challenged in other ways, do not do what I'm doing, okay? So let's take a look at what I'm doing. I am putting my doll right at the edge of the pool. Thank God this time I can actually dive in here because it's hot and water's pretty good. So it feels alright. I can at least shoot around the water surface upwards like this, so like I'm actually in the water. 7200 at around 135mm with the flashes, they're weird. One is right behind me over there and the other one is sitting beside me on this bed right here. Around here or so should be fine, so hopefully it looks alright because I didn't want to put them over there and everything seems relatively stable if I hold on to this. I think it should be alright. I still need to get over with the other shots and it is also absolutely bloody windy, so wigs are not going to be a great thing for today, and also I can't just move back and forth for all this micro adjustments that I do all the time, and at the same time I also need to rely a lot on Photoshop AI because all of this cannot be stacked. I can't exactly dip my tripod in the water, can I? Anyway, enough rambling and let's take a look at the first shot for the day. I would say alright. It's not the best and it's not the flashiest, but at the same time it is, I think, my first time doing a video in a pool like this and also doing photos, so I'm not expecting a lot from this. Hopefully I can do 2 more other shots and I can move on towards, say, the multiple, dual or group shots, because that's what I'm looking for today. But anyway, let's go on for the next shot. After a really bloody long setup process, here I have the second shot of today, and as you can see, everything is well floating around. I am standing, fortunately, but everything in front of me is just very unstable. As you can see, the doll is on the floating bed, and oh dear. And well, the camera and everything is on there as well. It's moving around, it might sink anytime, who knows, so let's get this over with as quick as possible. 1535 at 35mm f2.8 for maximum bokeh at a vertical orientation, because everything looks a bit weird if you're doing horizontal. Lighting, as always, is pretty harsh because the sun is right up there. Unfortunately, it is also overcast in a lot of ways, so shadows are between harsh and not very harsh, so they are very hard to handle. Flashes, well, one's over here, one's right behind the camera right there. Hopefully they light up the face pretty well and give the eyes some glare, so it will look at least somewhat usable. Hopefully everything goes alright, and hopefully this doesn't sink into the water, so yeah, let's take a look at the shot. I would say it's alright, it's not bad, but at the same time I did kind of just remember that I forgot to do the B-roll for the last shot. But at the same time, can you really blame me? It's a pool shot, and I am quite worried about everything being unstable. I'll try and do some B-roll for this one, hopefully I did, but if I didn't, editing me, add something interesting down below, interesting fact about something, I don't know. And let's move on to the next setup. And that's about all the footage I have, because it was bloody raining that day. I had to run everywhere and cover everything. Both my friends just ran downstairs to hide, while I held an umbrella over my dolls and my gear, because, well, I have too much out here that I can't just move around and run downstairs whenever it's raining, because this takes priority. I am waterproof, these things aren't. So there you go. Unfortunately, that's what it is. The photos I've actually posted already. I'll post it on the screen right now. That one's pretty good. I remember that one was shot on a rubber dinghy. This one, yeah, this one was shot along that thing over there. That one. And it was okay. That was when there was still a bit of sun, and that was likely when I got bloody sunburned into a crisp, bright red. I don't think I have any photos that would not get me banned off YouTube, so I'll just say it looked like the Soviet flag. That's how bad it was. The third one was, well, it was a very bad photo, because I was trying a concept to try have the dolls simulating jumping into the water, but it ended up just looking quite lame, and also the lack of sun, the lack of any colors, really didn't help. There's also another thing I want to mention when I'm doing all of this, because when I'm doing things in water, I can't use a tripod. That means I have to use a lot of AI, or at least generate a lot of content behind the photo to see how that works. And that rolls over to the topic I want to talk about, the AI info or the AI tag on Instagram or Threads or Facebook or whatever you use. I don't think Twitter has it, but I think it's going to come really soon. I don't know why, but they always tag my photos as made with AI or AI info. And while I do use some AI in my photos, including photoshopping out the person that's in the background that I don't want being there, or a pole that's blocking off all the view and I want it gone, I don't think it's really fair to classify the whole photo as made with AI. Yes, maybe partially made with AI, but if you were to say my photo was partially made by AI, which I have video proof of me going to the spot, setting up everything and doing the photo, then I think certain cosplayers, or at least a big part of cosplayers, should also be tagged as made with AI, because good god, you have no idea how much fat and how much bone they shave off their bloody heads. So I don't think that's really fair. I'm not sure if it's because Adobe or whatever tags the photo when I use Photoshop and use Generate AI and just basically use the tag on Instagram as a metadata so it knows I did it with AI, or some other bloody magic. I think Threads uses another software or something to detect if you've actually made things with AI, so that's actually pretty unfair. I actually have a few photos that I don't think I even use any AI and it still got tagged. So to say I am angry would kind of be an understatement. That's really unfair. Overall, I am not opposed to using AI for filling out things or generating things that you would perhaps use in a photo. I know there's a whole copyright thing and I don't really like my work being fed into the system, but at the same time, I think it's a trend going up ahead, and there's really nothing you can do about it. And I think you've had enough of me just rambling on and on and on about this bloody generative AI thing for a while, and you really want to go back to the dolls. So without further ado, let's go on to the third shot. Alright, here's the third shot of the day, and I'll be honest with you, it's not really that great. It's mostly because I wanted to shoot the side of the pool, and this was probably the best option out of everything. And to add insult to injury, I can't exactly use the 7200 because this thing is just way too long for this scene. I honestly think that if I were to bring my 24-70, that would have been a better option. However, 15-35 is good enough. Let's take a look at what I'm using. The 15-35 at 28mm shooting a vertical composition, something around the lines of this. With one light on top of the camera, this is basically at full output at this point because it is under basically, well, direct blazing sun. The face itself is being covered by the hat, so I'm not that concerned. However, that makes it under extreme shadow, meaning that I will have to do a lot of editing and also pull in a lot of light. So the two flashes basically on maximum output, one's right behind the Pocket 3 right here, and one is right behind me. So giving that balanced output on the face, however, it's not that great because one is really further away than the other, and they're both slightly below the doll itself, meaning that the eyes itself is not very lit up balanced. I don't know if you know what I mean, but that's basically the best way of describing it. I am not using my tripods again. I'm just going to do some AI trickery and clone out everything in the background. It's already at its best angle, and I'm trying to minimize the spots that I need to clone out or use AI, so I think it should be okay. But it's still going to be marked as AI anyway, so yeah, there we go. All right, without further ado, let's take a look at the shot. I'd say it looks about alright, and it looks way better because the sun's kicking in and you need a lot of sun for this to work. I know I emphasize a lot about soft light and having things that look softer, but sometimes to emphasize a scene like a swimsuit, like a pool, you need the strongest sunlight, you need direct sunlight, although yes, I am covering up the face, the most important part, by the hat itself. It looks way better if it's appropriate. Alright, I think that's about it, and I'll see if I can get the fourth shot, which is a duo, so that's going to be a little bit more difficult. I'll see you soon. Alright, this is the last shot for today, and likely the last shot I will do near water or at a pool for a very, very long time. Don't comment on the hairstyle, please. I just pulled all my hair back into the cap and just put it on just so nothing that goes in my eye. So yeah, the cap's over there to dry for now, so don't think too much about the hairstyle. As for this rubber dinghy right here, I'm just using it to support everything, so I don't need to concentrate on holding everything above water, and also have somewhat of a vantage point to talk to you like this. Let's take a look at what I'm using. 15-35 at 35mm, f5.6 as a lower aperture because I want to keep both the dolls in focus. At least it needs to look clear enough, or at least both of them needs to look somewhat in focus to convince everyone that it's on the same focusing plane, because they're around 1 centimeter apart in terms of depth and they're not exactly that aligned, but I think it looks okay. Vertical composition, I don't need to concentrate too much on holding the camera because I can use the rubber dinghy to hold it around here or so, and also have a vantage point for my flash because I really didn't want to put it over there. It's not useful over there because there's a sunlight doing the backlight and the other flash is in front, so I need some sort of, what's the word? balanced lighting. So the flash is going to be here, so one over here, one over there, giving the balanced lighting on both of the faces. It's not exactly that great either because this one is slightly too much to my right, and the shadows are strong because I need to put it on very, very high output to combat against the horrible sunlight right above there. Hopefully there's no flaring, I think it's going to be fine. Everything seems about okay. Again, I'm going to use a lot of AI to clone out things at the back because I can't exactly stack like this, right? So yeah, it's probably going to get tagged as AI as well. So without further ado, let's take a look at the final shot for today. And I would say looks good enough, and this will probably be my new wallpaper for quite a long time until I find another shot that I can do both of them at the same time. Alright, I think it's about time to roll the outro. I'll be honest with you, I completely forgot about the outro when I was at the pool, so you'll just have to bear with me here. I'm at my room, in front of some white walls, and I'm gonna voice my thoughts about the whole AI thing, because I do have some things that I want to say. My stance on AI is that it's a generative tool for creativity, and it's pretty cool. And that's about it. It allows for never-seen-before creativity to go on the internet, and I think that's really nice, because a lot of people who have never been able to voice their creativity now get a chance, a fair one if anything. The problem comes in when people can just leech off other things, leech off other people's creativity. The example that personally affects me is that I've seen on Twitter some people take a lot of these doll photos from everyone, throw them into the AI and just feed it, and then just spit out their own doll photo. While I will not deny that the end result looks quite nice, it doesn't have a soul to it. The way I create things is I find a location, I look at what it has, and then I dress up the doll accordingly, and then I have to lug all my gear, all of this, to that location, and sometimes it doesn't even work out. If it does work out, I spend a lot of time editing these bloody photos, and also a video along the way as proof that I actually went there, and all of that goes on the internet. And, well, to say that all of that creativity gets plagiarized or fed into an AI is just unfair. I don't like when people can plagiarize other people and just get away with it because you mixed 10 other people in the process and somehow that's not plagiarism. That's just bullshit. I don't like that. And by extension, the other problem is social media. Those platforms have a thing called Made by AI. And I think I've complained about that a few videos ago, because recently, more and more of my posts are just getting tagged with Made by AI. While I won't deny that some of these photos have AI assistance, the whole thing being tagged by Instagram or Meta or whatever as Made by AI is just unfair, because sometimes in these photos I spot a little thing in the background I don't like, I just scribble it out. Oh, I don't think I can clone out a joint as well as the AI can do it, I'll just clone out some parts of it and do AI and do some of the final touches myself. To say that the whole thing is made by Midjourney or ChatGPT or something, I don't know, is just unfair. Because I go through a lot of these processes, I use hours upon hours to edit, to produce these things, and it just gets tagged by Made by AI, and some other people posting their shitty landscape photos with a fence missing, or their cosplay photos portrait with 2 inches off the face just doesn't get tagged by AI. That's just not fair. However, I know I'm getting a bit angry here, so I'll just calm down for a bit. What I'm saying is that some of these social media platforms, or whatever, need to look at their policy about tagging things as Made by AI. Because what do you mean exactly by AI assistance? Because when you're shooting a photo with your phone, there's a lot of AI assistance, there's a lot of stacking. Sometimes it even processes your face without you knowing. Is that AI assistance? Is that Made by AI? Debatable, because I don't think so, but a lot of people do. Maybe the way around it, at least for me, is just wiping all the metadata from all of my photos and just posting them on these platforms, because as I mentioned earlier in the video, a lot of these platforms rely on the metadata to differentiate if it's made by AI. I know some other platforms don't, they just scan the photo and see if there's anything weird in it, and they then tag it, so that's why some of my photos aren't tagged as AI, and some are, despite the metadata being gone, but I think that's the easiest way out, at least for now. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this absolutely horrible video to the very end. I know I like to mumble about just some obscure topic like AI for minutes, hours even, but thank you very much for watching to the very end. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of this garbage. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you think about this AI garbage, and I will see you in the next video. Lemon, out.